Maqasidic Tafsir.
Where should I begin when I'm starting at the end? Pursuing the higher aim, learning the meaning of every page. Where should I begin when I'm starting at the end?
Assalamu alaikum. Sunnahfollowers presents a new class, the Maqasidic Tafsir, being taught and brought to you by Ustada Layla Nashiba. Please stay tuned, streaming on all major platforms, right here on channel Sunnahfollowers.
Sorry. Ina alhamdulillah wa salat wa salam ala wa rasulullah. I'd like to welcome everybody to our class for today. This is our first class. And yesterday, let me explain what happened. Yesterday, I had an important phone call that I had to address from overseas. So, the person, my family lives in the Emirates and it's a different time zone. And, I had to talk to her, my sister and my brother-in-law. So I apologize, guys. They happened to call right in the middle, right when I was getting ready to do my Maqasidic Tafsir class that I was looking so forward to, but that's okay. I'm going to do that class today because I know a lot of my new shahadas and my old Muslims too have been asking me questions about the marriage that's initiated by a woman because I don't know what's wrong with my lighting. For some reason, I don't know. My lighting went crazy on my computer. I use a, the light, but for some reason it's off today. I gotta check the settings. But anyway, a lot of you have been asking me about a divorce that's initiated by a woman because divorce is done differently. So I didn't want to have you guys wait till next week to find out. So I'm going to do that class tonight. And also I'm going to give you a quiz because we're covering so much in all of our classes. The Maqasidic Tafsir, that's the class based on the book written by Sheikh Karim Abu Zaid. In fact, let me put that up as a background too. My lighting on this computer, see, I had disconnected it to take it over to my brother's house when I was with my mother. And when I put the light, that little light that you use when you're streaming, I got to readjust it. Look at it. It's just, I look pale and light. I don't like that. I'm a perfectionist. I can't stand, I'm OCD. Ooh, I can't stand when this happens. I'm going to have my granddaughter come over because my granddaughter fixed it for me before where it wasn't too bright and too light. So I have to have her come over this weekend because this is going to drive me crazy looking all pale and stuff. But anyway, subhanAllah, I'm going to cover, this is the book. For those of you who have not yet purchased the book, I have a lot of new shahadas. I want you guys to know the books that I use. I use the books written by Sheikh Karim Abu Zaid. His are the only books I teach here along with Sheikh Atli. I only teach Sheikh Atli's hadith books and Karim Abu Zaid's Aqidah books. So for those of you who are new here, please go to Amazon.com. And this book is, how much is this book now? I think it's $19.99, I think. So make sure you go to Amazon.com, guys. And this is how the book looks. This is volume 1. I will be teaching the entire series, but we're on volume 1, which basically is the science of the Quran. It lets you know how the Quran interpreters, when you guys come to the people of knowledge and ask them about issues that relate to the community, the scholars of the Quran will use the Quran to give us the solutions to the problems that we face in the world today, because the Quran is for all times. The Quran is never outdated. And I want you guys to understand that, because there are a lot of Muslims today who are trying to teach you guys that the Quran is outdated and that the laws of Allah can be changed because you live in a Kafir country. Like the Prophet didn't live in a Kafir country. Like the companions weren't fighting to make countries not Kafir. I mean, come on, that is the most ludicrous garbage I've ever heard. But these are the days of the fitan that our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam warned us. But so the Quran is not outdated. There is no issue that we face today that Allah has not already addressed in that Quran. There is no question that any Muslim living on planet Earth today can ask that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has not already answered. The problem is the people of knowledge. What happens when they die? Their knowledge dies with them. And the true scholars of our religion are dying every day, and they're leaving behind people who call themselves their students, who are not educated, who are just taking you on directions that are totally the opposite of what the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam came with. And so that's why this religion is so distorted. And that's why the Sunnah has become abandoned and in many cases forgotten. Well, here at Sunnahfollowers, the name says it all. We're going to keep that Sunnah vibrant. Here at Sunnahfollowers, we're going to keep that Sunnah alive, inshallah. So make sure you go to Amazon.com. The book is $19.99. This is volume 1, the Maqasidic Tafsir. This is the first of the series, which basically gives you the means that tells you how the scholars, are able to find the real scholars. I ain't talking about these man-made rejects who come to America and adopt the title scholar because they speak Arabic and because they think that they can pull game over you because you're from the Western world. I ain't talking about them. I'm talking about the real scholars who are dead, basically. Most of them are. We got a couple still alive, but not that many, to be honest. And you'll never see them on the internet. That's another thing I want to also emphasize to my new shahadas. The true scholars are busy, man. You're not going to see them sitting up on YouTube trying to run a social media channel. The real scholars are too busy dealing with the issues of the world today that they don't have time for social media. They don't have time for that silly stuff. The true scholars, you're not going to see them sitting up on YouTube. I'm sorry, they don't do that. You're not going to see them traveling around to your masajid either, to your mosque giving lectures. No, they ain't got time for that. They're too busy dealing with the real drama of the real world. And they're busy training, trying to put out students who will carry on the true knowledge of Islam after them. So you're not going to find that. And that was a question that one of the brothers asked me. And there's your answer. No, you're not going to see them sitting up running a YouTube influential channel. Nobody got time for that. Renegades. Okay, so be careful. Like I tell you, new shahadas, be careful who you take your knowledge from. Old Muslims who've been Muslims for years, be careful who you take your knowledge from. One of the signs that what you're learning is correct is the person should be able to back up what they're teaching with true evidence. not from a fatwa, not from one of the four imams, but from the Quran or the authentic hadith. Islam is not based on fatwas. The four imams did not create Islam, as one of the new shahadas asked me. Are the four imams the one who created this? Oh my God, no. Why would you ask that? Because that's all these brothers are talking about. They're always telling us what one of the four imams. So I thought the four imams were the ones that created Islam. What? That's what one of the shahadas asked me today. And he's new. He's only been Muslim for 3 weeks. No, Islam is only based on two sources, the Quran and the authentic hadiths. If they don't back up what they say with what Allah said or the Prophet, and if they don't give the understanding of those companions, don't pay this other stuff no attention. Bottom line, that's the easy way. Okay? That's how you don't end up misguided. And I got some old Muslims here who are shocked because Allah has guided them to this website, and I've been teaching them Islam. They've been coming here and they're like, everything I learned was wrong. Don't feel bad. That's the way of the world. There's going to be more people in hell than paradise. Instead, say Alhamdulillah that Allah guided you to the truth, that Allah guided you to this website, this channel, so now you can learn what the true Aqidah is based upon. Because there's a lot of people that will die not knowing it. And if they don't know they have the correct Aqidah or the correct belief system, you already know what's going to happen to them. Okay, so we ain't got time for all that feeling sorry for yourself because you didn't know this and you didn't know that. And and life is too short. Keep it moving. And also, before I begin, one of the new shahadas, well, several of you, what is this? Oh, this is the 20th. This is Christmas time of year or something. I forget. I mean, I know it is the season, but I don't work anymore since I retired. I don't keep up with the holidays. I kept up with them when I worked because it was double time. I used to work overtime on the holidays and make $2,000-$3,000 for 8 hours, for 16 hours. So, but since I don't work no more, I don't keep up with it. But one of the new shahadas asked me, Sister Layla, when I go to the store and they say happy holidays, happy new year, Merry Christmas, how do I respond? Okay, I get this question every year. I'm going to give you the answer that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave. When he was greeted by a group of Jews who called themselves being smart Alex. Okay? They, in the Hebrew language, when we give salams, we say assalamu alaikum. The Hebrew language is so similar to Arabic that they say assalamu, assalamu, okay? And it sounds like they're giving salams. But in reality, they were wishing death upon the Prophet. So let me tell you how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam responded to them. When they said, death be upon you, he said, wa alaikum. What does that mean? That means, and the same to you. And he kept it moving. And when his young wife, Aisha, tried to get fiery at those men because she knew what they said, the Prophet told her, didn't you see how I answered them? I said, wa alaikum. So that put the cursed, that put it right back on them. And it also prevents me from having to be in a predicament where I'd have to defend myself and you. Although I would have won, to defend myself and you against a group of men that could have hurt us. So that's my response. And whenever the Muslims ask me that every year, Sister Layla, how do we respond to Happy New Year? How do we respond to Merry Christmas? How do we respond to Happy Easter? How do we respond to shake? Hey, fries go with that shake. Hey, baby, what's up? Wa alaikum. The same to you. That's all you have to say. The same to you. Do fries go with that shake, baby? The same to you. Drop it like it's hot. The same to you. Merry Christmas. The same to you. Death to you. You terrorists. The same to you. You know, this way you don't find yourself participating in their filth. And also, you don't bring attention to yourself where you might end up dead. I'm just going to come out there, dead. Because every year we hear, y'all know it's true, every year we hear about some Muslim who somebody said Merry Christmas to or Happy New Year to. That Muslim went off on them and told them, I ain't no kafir, I ain't no pagan. They got into an argument, and what happens? Bang, 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 bang. The Nicki Minaj show is here. Bang, bang. Somebody take out a gun and blow you away. Was it worth dying for? Just say walaikum and keep it moving. Do like our prophet did. Same to you. Keep it moving. You're a dirty terrorist. Same to you. Keep it moving. See that? So that's my response in all situations. And being a Muslim woman who's grown up in America, especially, and I grew up in the 60s. I was born and raised in America all my life, grew up in the 60s. I learned that long time ago from my stepfather. He said, Layla, don't put yourself in a situation where your mouth will cause somebody to bust a cap up in you. Walaikum and keep it moving. Y'all got that? That's all you say. Walaikum and keep it moving. Same to you. The same to you. The same to you. The same to you, and keep it moving. Y'all got that? New shahadas. Stay away from this Christmas crap. Don't participate. I answered the question 3 times last week. Your job is having a Christmas party. Do we go to it? No. Can't nobody force you to go to no Christmas party. That's against the American Constitution. Hello. Every state in America has an EEO, and every state in America has a civil rights commission. They can't force you to participate in any holiday celebrations. You just politely say, I don't participate. The same way the Jehovah's Witnesses do. The Jehovah's Witnesses, they politely say, I'm a Jehovah's Witness. I don't participate. The Seventh-day Evangelists, however you say their name, they say the same thing. When I was at work, I worked with Jehovah's Witnesses. I had Seventh-day Evangelists, however you call them. You know, they was telling politely, we don't participate. I don't sell, I'm a Seventh-day Evangelist. Well, you a Muslim. We don't participate, and keep it moving. Your job can't force you to participate. If they try to, contact EEO. Every company in America has a human resource department. Contact human resources and file an EEO complaint. Equal opportunity. Yeah, America's laws, they don't just work for the non-Muslims. They work for the Muslims too, if you know them. Okay? All right. So with that said, let's start our lecture for tonight. And again, I apologize for yesterday, missing yesterday's class. That's why I'm going to do it now. We talked about how if the community of Muslims or an individual Muslim is faced with a problem in life, they'll go to the scholar of the Quran and ask for solutions or help. The scholar of the Quran will then go to the Quran, and we talked about how each chapter of the Quran has a objective or a subject or a topic. So the interpreter of the Quran interpreter will go to the Quran, to those chapters that address whatever the issue is. And we talked about how each chapter is composed of verses or sentences. And every sentence in a chapter is going to address whatever that topic is. Except for a few. There may be a few, there are a few instances where a sentence may not. But the majority of the sentences will address whatever the topic of that chapter is in some way, shape, or form. And we used the example the last time we met of divorce. We talked about how divorce is a big problem for the Muslims here in America. We're just like the non-believers. We've imitated them to the point where we've adopted their problems. Okay? Which is a very high divorce rate. So we talked about how it's the job of the Quran interpreter or the Quranic scholar, to go through the Quran and bring out the verses from Allah that speak about the importance of trying to protect and preserve the marriage and why marriage is needed, why it's good. And then we talked about how, but even after all of that, a couple may try everything in their power to stay together, but it just don't work. So we talked about how there are two types of divorces in Islam. The talaq, which is the divorce initiated by the man. And that's what we spoke about last week. And today I'm going to speak about Khula, which is a divorce initiated by the woman. And I'm going to go show you how the Quran interpreter goes through the verses of the Quran, the chapters, and also using the hadith as explanation. He explains the procedure. But before we get into that, let me put the PowerPoint up on the screen. Okay, let me put this down. I'm going to try to make this larger. Yes, that's the book. Exactly. It's on Amazon, $19.99. You're going to, Sister Amina. Exactly, $19.99, Sister Amina. It's written by Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid. You see, that's how the book looks. It doesn't have his picture on there. I put the picture there so you guys know who he is. Okay. Yeah, that's the one, the green one. Yeah, you see a blue one too. Yeah, he's got this is more than one. This is volume 1. So get this one. Yeah, second edition. That's what it has on there. Volume 1. Yes, go ahead. Yeah, just order it. You should get it in 2-3 days, inshallah. Okay. So before we go over the divorce initiated by a woman, what Allah says about it, let me first start off with, okay, I'm going to set this up. A quiz over the regular divorce. Now, based on what we went over last week, how the Quran interpreter will go through the surahs of the Quran that address divorce, we came up with some rules, with the rules and guidelines that Allah put together. So let's see how well you guys can answer these questions. I made the questions simple. I made them true or false just to keep, so we don't be here all night. Because my quizzes end up taking an hour. Okay. So let's look at the first question. The husband can divorce his wife and take her back 3 times, 2 times, or 1 time. Which answer is correct?
3 times.
Okay, somebody said 3 times. What about the rest of you?
2. No, it was 2 times.
Okay.
The 3rd time.
Okay, wait a minute. Hold up. Okay, hold on. Okay, we got to answer 3 times and 2 times. What do y'all think on Facebook and YouTube? My new shahadas. Okay, Nadia said 2 times. Isra, 2 times. Sakina, 3. Nicola, mashallah, it's good to see you, my sister. Nicola said, let me share your answer too. Wait a minute, this brother's texting me right when I'm doing this. Okay, here we go. Nicola said he can take her back 2 times. After the 3rd, he can't. Mashallah. Good job. And Carol too. Good job. Mashallah. All of you got it right except for Sakina and the first person that answered. Yeah, I want you women to remember that, because that gets kind of tricky. A husband, a man can only divorce his wife and take her back 2 times. That's it. Exactly. If he divorces her a 3rd time, it's over. It's over. And Allah knows his creation better than the creation knows itself. Allah put those rules in effect because just like today, the men were abusing it. You know, like I tell you guys, there is nothing that's happening today that hasn't happened during the time of the prophet. Just like men divorce and take their wives back, they abuse divorce. Today, they were abusing it back in the 6th century too. They abused it so bad that when Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, became the ruler over the people, he had to put some rules. He had to add some more rules to it, you know, to keep the men from making a mockery of Allah's deen. So 2 times, that's all he can do. 2 times, that's it. Good job on that. Okay, next question. Let me move this out the way so I don't hit it. Okay. Next question. Brother Edward, you're here? Okay, but Brother Edward said, I'm sorry I'm late. Where's Timothy? You and Timothy work together? No, y'all in different states. Did you talk to Timothy? Okay, he said Timothy will be coming in. Where's Brother Amir? I don't see Amir either. And where's Ahmed? Where's my little kid, my little teenager, Ahmed? And where my other bro? Yeah. Oh, they are all coming in. Where's my Reddit people? Oh, they coming in? Okay. Yeah, Brother Ahmed, yeah. He's coming for the Q&A too. Yes, don't forget, guys, we have the Q&A show. My Q&A, where you got questions about Islam, that's tonight at 9:30. Bring your questions and inshallah I'll answer. Okay, what about this question? A man can divorce his wife on her menses. Is that statement true or false?
False. False.
Okay, they said false in Zoom. What do you guys think on LinkedIn? I got some people on Twitter. MashaAllah. Welcome to the people on Twitter. You can type your answers too, and I can see. For the people on Instagram, I believe Sister Famay. Is Famay logged in on Instagram or Awa? One of y'all is logged in on Instagram, right? If you're on Instagram,
Yeah, I am.
okay, Famay can see your answers. Okay. Sister Hannah, mashallah. Welcome, Sister Hannah Ali. Okay, the question is, a man can divorce his wife when her menses, true or false? Mashallah, Sister Hannah Ali and everybody else. Correct. If this is false. Good job, Carol, too. Good job, Brother Edward. Good job. The brother from Russia is here. I cannot pronounce your name with that Russian text, but mashallah. Hello, Dr. Sulu, whatever they were on Star Trek, the Russian dude. Oh, wrong country. I'm sorry. Okay, all of you got it right. A man cannot divorce his wife on her menses, guys. This happened during the time of the prophet. What did the prophet say? If a man does do that, what did the prophet say? Does it count? What happens? If you are on your menses and your husband divorces you, what happens? Does it count? What happens?
It doesn't count. We have to wait until the menses is over.
Exactly. It doesn't count. It doesn't count. So if you a woman and your husband divorced you when you were on your menses, it doesn't count. He's got to go back and wait till you are clean. Okay? And there's a wisdom behind that. Can anybody tell me the hikmah? What is the wisdom behind it? Brother Edward, you should remember. Asking me. MashaAllah, there's Brother Amir. Brother Amir is here. You sorry for being late. Good job. Brother Zahid is here. MashaAllah. I got my regular brothers in here. Okay. What is the hikmah? Say it again. What's the what's? Wow. Whoever that is, your microphone is so messed up, I couldn't understand it. So if you a woman and your husband divorced you when you were okay, somebody else, her mic was so bad I couldn't understand a word she said. What's the reason behind it? Anyone else? What's the wisdom behind not divorcing your wife on her menses?
Oh, because she may be pregnant.
No.
Oh no, excuse me. No, excuse me.
No, if a woman on her menses, she ain't pregnant.
Right.
Because she could be unstable, and you guys could be divorcing, and her mind's not right. Maybe you guys got into an argument and made you mad, but she's unstable when she's on her menses.
Exactly, because of our mood swings. Every woman, y'all women should know that. All of us.
We were saying that.
Okay, I didn't hear you say it, Sabrina. Okay, but that's the correct answer if you did. Good job. When a woman is on her menses, that's when we are at our moody, our hormonal swing. So a woman can say things or do things and not really be in her right mind. So for our protection, because Allah knows his creation. Like I tell you guys, one sister here got upset with me because I said what Allah said. I didn't make the laws. I didn't make the creation. Allah did. Allah says in the Quran that he created us women. We're more emotional than men. And our Prophet Muhammad explained that the deficiency between that the woman has is her PMS, her instability when her menses comes. I didn't make that up. Allah said it. And I had a sister that got offended with me about that. I'm sorry. To get over that feminism crap. This is Islam. All right? We women are emotionally imbalanced when our menses comes. And even after that, when you get to be my age, when you go through menopause, our emotions are going to always be all over the place. When you go through menopause, 1 minute you smiling. Next minute I'm crying. Next minute I'm wanting to throw myself off the balcony. You know, that's just how Allah created us women. We're very emotionally imbalanced. Okay? So, you know, that's why for our protection, Allah made the rule and he made the guideline that a man cannot pronounce divorce on his wife until she's clean, because then her emotions will settle down. Everybody understand that? Walaikum salam, Brother Tajri. MashaAllah, I got my old crew here from the brothers. Good job. Okay, good job. Next question. How long before, and all of this is in the Quran. This is what the Quran interpreter will pull up from out of the Quran. Next question. How long before the divorce is over in Islam? Is it 3 months? Is it 3 menses? Or is it 3 months or 3 menses? Whichever comes first.
The last one.
Okay, Brother Amir said he has to think about this one. You got to think about this one. Okay. She said the last one. Any other answers? How long before the divorce is over? If a man divorces his wife, and I hope when you do get married, Brother Amir, that you never divorce your wife. Brother Edward, you too. Okay? But how long before if a man divorces her, is it over? Okay, one sister Sandra, you said 3 months. Okay, everybody else said the last one, 3 months or 3 menses, whichever comes first. That's the correct answer. That's the correct answer. Can anybody give me the hikmah or the reason or the wisdom behind why whichever one comes first? What's the reason why Allah didn't just say 3 months or 3 menses? Why did he say whichever one comes first? You can figure that out if you're a woman. Can any woman figure that out?
Because most women don't have periods.
That's not the answer. Every woman has a period.
I meant to say basically she don't have a period no more.
No.
Oh, okay.
Anybody else? This is
it because whichever 3 months or 3 months, whichever comes first, because the wisdom behind that might be in case like you're pregnant or something.
No, this ain't got nothing to do with pregnancy. If you sisters would ponder this reality, then you would tell all those brothers on the internet that's telling y'all to pray on your menses to go soak their head in the toilet. Now, why is it that Allah said 3 months or 3 menses? It's common sense.
I got it now. Let me see. 3 months because that's the amount of time that you need to get yourself together.
No.
Oh, wow.
Why 3? And this is what I'm saying. I've been teaching Islam all my life, and a lot of you sisters don't know what a menses is. This is really pathetic. Y'all have been brainwashed. Why did Allah say 3 months or 3 menses? Isra, my best student is Isra and Faiza. Can one of y'all answer that? Can y'all tell these people why 3 months or 3 menses, whichever comes first? You women need to learn this.
I'll try. Is it because our menses is off sometimes? Like the days can be longer, shorter. Every woman's menses is different.
Exactly. Because of what the Prophet said, a woman's period is not determined by the amount of days in which she bleeds. Our period is determined by the color of the blood. That's Bukhari. You cannot get around that authentic, clear hadith. So whichever comes first, my menses might last just 2 days. So why do I have to wait the whole month? Do y'all understand? If my period only lasts 2 days, why do I have to wait 28 more days to get a divorce? Every woman's body is different. Some women have a 2-day period. Some women's period are like mine. I used to bleed 14 days. My period used to last 14 days. That was regular for me. Then when I got older, it lasted 20. So every woman's body is different. The woman's period is not determined by the amount of days in which she bleeds. It's determined by the color of the blood. As soon as I completed 3 menses, we're done. If my menses comes every 20 days, I ain't got to wait 30. I'm done. Y'all understand? So if I have 3 menses in 60 days, we're done. Y'all understand? Or if you're a person like me, I'm a 14-day bleeder. I was a 14-day bleeder. You know, it might take me 4 or 5 months. It might take me 4 or 5 months to complete, so that way 3 months comes before 5. So we're done. Y'all see that? If I were to wait 3 menstrual cycles, it would take me 4 to 6 months. So 3 months comes before 6, Layla, you're done. Do you women understand now? Feedback. Does that make sense to y'all?
Yes.
That's why I'm telling y'all, you will never understand the Quran till you learn them hadiths. These brothers that are teaching you women that you can pray after the 5th day of your menses, they're lying. That ain't what the Prophet said. The Prophet said a woman cannot pray until her menses is over. And it's determined by the color of the blood, not the days in which she's bleeding. So a lot of you sisters are praying on your period, and you have the curse of Allah on you. Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, said any woman who prays on her menses has the curse of Allah on her. You sisters have to do what the Prophet said and stop following these mathabs. Some of these mathabs tell you that you can only bleed 5 days. That ain't how Allah made us. Allah made us different. I was a 14-day bleeder. She's a 2-day bleeder. My granddaughter's a 4-day bleeder. My sister is a 5-day. Allah's the creator, not man. That's why Islam is based on only 2 sources, Quran and Hadith. And that's why this is the dalil too, to prove it. Whichever comes first, 3 months or 3 menses, because every woman's cycle is different. Everybody got that? Remember that answer next time, because you ain't going to hear the brothers tell you that. I have never heard any of these famous brothers speak and explain that like that, because they don't know nothing about the menses. Okay, next question. Exactly. Like why you can't dye your hair black. Exactly. I gave y'all the hadith because as Ibn Abbas said, it makes you look older. You don't hear nobody tell you. They all say, we don't know why. I know why. I know what the companion said. That's a muwatta hadith. It makes you look older. That's why the Prophet told Abu Bakr to take his father, dye that gray any color but black. Ibn Abbas said because black ages you. That's a muwatta, authentic hadith. But when I tell people that, they look at me like I'm crazy. So I only teach it to y'all when I'm teaching that class. And y'all see it right there. Okay. What about this? For the pregnant woman, the divorce ends. Wait a minute. My mouse here. For the pregnant woman, the divorce ends in 3 months, or when the baby is born, or a month after the baby is born. And all of this is and all of this is from the Quran, guys. This is what the Quran interpreter will bring to you about the rules of divorce, as we went over last week. We went over all these verses last week. I'm just quizzing you on them. Okay. Any other answers? She said when the baby is born. Okay.
Wait. Let me read them.
For the pregnant woman, the divorce ends when?
When the baby is born.
Okay. Sister Sandra said a month after the baby is born. Time of birth. Good job. Good job. All of you. Good job, brother Edward. All of you got it right. Exactly. Not a month after the baby is born. Exactly when that baby is born. Can y'all remember one of the female companions that lived up to that?
Atika.
Exactly. Good job, Mina. Atika, radiallahu anha. Who was she married to?
Umar?
No, not Umar. Although she did marry him, but not this time.
Yeah. It was the husband before Umar. That was.
What was his name, guys? He was the same man that was married to Aisha's sister that she finally divorced because he was hard on women. He used to beat women. He didn't beat her, but he had a heavy hand. Azubair, good job, Elizabeth. Azubair. When Atika, radiallahu anha, married Azubair, he was known for being abusive towards his wives. She made him put in her contract. She had it as part of her marriage contract that if he ever hit her, she can divorce him. So Atika, may Allah be pleased with her, was such a beautiful, passionate woman. Every man she married was martyred. That's why she was known as the wife of the martyrs. They used to say, if you want to be a martyr, marry Atika. She was beautiful. She was eloquent. She was one of those women that Allah sent that verse of the Quran down about. She had a soft voice. She was a poet, a poetess. And it was her natural voice. She spoke like Marilyn Monroe. She had a beautiful, soft, sensual voice like Marilyn Monroe. Okay? And, men loved her, wanted to marry her. So she married a lot of husbands, and Azubair was one. Yes, Umar was one. She even married Ali. Oh, yeah. But Azubair, he married her. He never hit her because she had it in her marriage contract that if he ever hit her, she divorced him. But still, he didn't want her to go to the mosque to pray. He was very jealous. Azubair, he was the same way when he was married to Asma, Aisha's sister. He was an extremely jealous man. So he told Atika, I don't want you ever going to the mosque. She said, but the prophet said I can go, that a woman can go and pray at the mosque. He said, I don't want you praying. She liked to go pray her night prayers. She liked to go when nobody else was there at night and just pray and talk to Allah. It made her feel close. So he refused her. So she happened to be pregnant. She got pregnant by him. And she was so unhappy with him because he would not allow her to leave the house. He didn't want her going to the mosque to pray. He didn't want her going anywhere because that's how jealous Azubair was. He wanted her to just stay in the house. So when it was almost, she knew from the baby growing in her stomach that if she was about to go into labor. So what she did was, shows how women, we're emotional, but we're more intelligent than men are. She played a trick on him. She knew that if she asked him if she could go to the mosque, it would make him angry. So she felt her labor pains coming, but she went into the room where he was at and she started an argument with him. She knew that if she made him mad enough, he would say, I divorce you. So she told him, I'm going to the mosque. She said, because I want to pray the night prayer at the mosque, and I don't care if you don't want me to go or not. He said, woman, you're going to yell at me? He said, then I'm going to tell you right now, I divorce you. For the way you were, because she yelled at him. She had a soft voice, but she made her voice loud like mine and said, I don't care what you say, I'm going to the mosque. She knew that would make him angry and make him say it. So he said, I divorce you. So he turned around and went back to what he was doing. She walked out the room. She had her servants help her lay down. And as quietly as she could, she gave birth to that baby. But the last push was so hard that she screamed. She said, ah, and the baby came out. Azubair ran in the room. He said, A'udhu Billahi, you tricked me. You tricked me, woman. You tricked me. She got up, picked up her voice and said, her baby, and said, happy trails. We're divorced. That's it. So from that, and that's authentic. You'll find that in Muwatta. That's a Muwatta hadith. That's why I like Muwatta. Muwatta tells you a little bit more insights into their lives. You know, so once a woman gives birth, that's it. It's over. The divorce is over. You can't take her back. And Zubair was so angry, he went and complained to the caliph, and the caliph told him, you know, nothing you can do. You know, she gave birth. The marriage was over. Subhanallah. So that's true. Yes, and she had a kid by Zubair. Exactly. Yeah, so for the pregnant woman, the divorce ends as soon as the woman delivers. Not a month later. As soon as that baby comes into the world, it's over. Okay, good job. So, what about this? Last question. Why does the wife remain in the home during the divorce process? Why does the woman remain in the home? And who can give me the wisdom? Yeah, that the reason why is the wisdom. Why does the wife remain in the home during the divorce? Why? What do I mean? Oh, okay. Sister Kimmy wants to know, what do I mean by remain in the house? Remain in the house means that the husband cannot put her out. That does not mean that I can't go shopping or anything. No, it doesn't mean that. You can go to work, go shopping, do what you got to do. When we say that she remains in the home, that means her husband cannot kick her out. You got it, Kimmy? Okay. So why is it that a man cannot kick his wife out? Anybody?
Can I go? They may be gonna be reconciliate.
They may be what?
Reconciliate. I don't know how.
No. We're going beyond that. Forget about all that. What's the legal reason why? Forget what's the legal. Yeah, of course, for reconciliation. But remember, we talked about all this last week. Why did Allah say in that verse that the man cannot put the woman out of the house? What's the legal reason why? Exactly. Good job, Isra. Because he's supposed to provide and maintain and keep a roof over her until the divorce is over. Good job. And even if she was pregnant, even if the woman is pregnant, you can't put her out the house. You have to provide and maintain her and take care of her until she gives birth. If the woman is not pregnant, you cannot put her out because Allah is giving her that time, however long it takes, 3 months or 3 menstrual cycles, whichever comes first. Allah is giving her that time to figure out how she's going to live, how she's going to provide for herself. Exactly, Nicola, how she's going to get her things in order. And these are all the rules that we went over last week when we talked about divorce initiated by a man. And remember, we went over all those different verses of the Quran. I outlined this stuff to you then, and I told you guys I was going to give you a quiz. You should have remembered, but y'all did good on the quiz anyway. Alhamdulillah. So these are some of the rules and guidelines that come from the Quran in regards to a divorce that's initiated by a man. Now, what about this? Now we're going to speak about the women-initiated divorce. Different rules, different situation. Let me set my computer up too to make it larger so y'all can see better. Okay. When the wife initiates the separation, this process is called a Khula in Arabic. In this type of divorce, the husband is not at fault. but the wife may feel that there is an incompatibility with him. Maybe she doesn't find him attractive. Maybe he smells bad. Maybe he's got some issues that she just can't deal with. Maybe he's bipolar. Maybe he's a little bit quick. Whatever. Or she just don't like the way he talks, the way his manners are. So, because of this, because this is the woman's something that she doesn't like, it requires that she return the dowry to end the marriage because she's the one breaking the contract. But here's where it gets twisted. I want you sisters to understand you don't have to give a reason why. All you got to say is because you're not happy. He just don't make me happy. That's it. I don't know where this misconception comes from, where a lot of sisters think that they have to lay down a list of reasons. Nowhere does Allah say that in the Quran. You don't have to give no reason except that you are not happy with this marriage. That's why it's a wife initiated. It's a no fault on the man. It's just that I just don't like him. He's just not for me. Where's my dalil? Again, everything we say about this deen has to be based on not what Imam Malik said, not what Imam Shafi said, not what Ibn Taymiyyah said, but what Allah said with the Prophet. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning. It is not lawful for you to take anything of what you have given them unless both fear that they will not be able to keep within the limits of Allah. But if you fear that they will not keep within the limits of Allah, then there is no blame upon either of them concerning that by which she ransoms herself. That's the dowry. These are the limits of Allah, so do not transgress them. So the Quran interpreter, let's say a woman comes to me. I'm a Quran interpreter. Well, let's say a man, not me. Let's say that she goes to the Islamic scholar that specializes in divorce. He specializes in divorce because he's a scholar of the Quran and the verses that relate to that. So when she comes to him and says, I want a Khula from my husband, she doesn't have to tell him why. She accepts that I'm unhappy. I'm not happy with this marriage. Then the Quran interpreter will tell her, are you willing? Do you have the dowry? Do you have the dowry so you can give it back? So that's why they'll ask you, sisters, where do you have your dowry? Okay? This is clear. We also have the hadith. Remember the science of connectivity. When it comes to the science of the Quran, you know, Allah gives us his rulings, and then our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam will give us more explanation because something happened. Something happened to make Allah say what he said. So when you read the verse that I just read, you would ask, what happened to make Allah say that the woman, if the man is at no fault, that the woman has to give back the dowry? Well, what happened was this. The wife of Thabit ibn Qais, she complained to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam about her marital situation. She stated in clear terms that Thabit was a good man. And by the way, he was one of the transcribers for the Prophet. He was a good man. She said, Ibn Qais is a good man. He's religious. He prays. He does everything he's supposed to do. She said, I have nothing against him in regard to his character. She said, I have nothing against him in regards to his religion. I'm just not happy with him. I just don't like being married to him. And Ibn Qais had given her a garden as her dowry. So when she told the prophet that she just wanted out of the marriage because she wasn't happy, the prophet asked her, are you willing to give him back the garden that he gave you as a dowry? She said yes. And so the prophet told Thabit to accept the garden back, and they were divorced. Y'all see that? You're not going to find any hadith whereas a woman came to the prophet complaining of a divorce, and the prophet told her to go home and be patient. Because the prophet Muhammad knows for a woman to divorce a man, that means she really ain't happy with him. Because Allah created women to be monogamous. So if I come to you and say, you know, I want a divorce, that means something's going on. Either something's going on in the marriage, or he just don't get it for me. So the prophet never told a woman to be patient and go back. That's what these crazy men today tell y'all. Okay? The prophet divorced any woman that came to him asking for it. Okay? Because that's it. For me to ask means something's going on. I ain't happy. And happiness is important. If a woman ain't happy in a relationship, what is she going to do? She going to do the same thing a man does. She going to go look for happiness somewhere else. A man can have 2, 3, 4 wives. We women can only have one husband. So rather than have your wife end up in a marital affair on the internet, you know, divorce her. The prophet would divorce her. Because that's the nature of the human being. If we're not happy here, I'm going to go find it somewhere else. Okay? So there's the dalil. That's why you sisters, and again, I stress, if it's a divorce where the man is not at fault, you're just not happy. I'm just not happy. Then you return the dowry. Now, this is where it gets twisted. But if she's initiating the divorce because of something else like abuse, she does not, I repeat, she does not have to return the dowry. Write it down, sisters. If the man is beating you up, if he's emotionally abusive and you can prove it, then you can keep the dowry. Again, the dowry is returned if the woman is seeking a divorce at no fault of the man. I just don't like him. I just don't want to be married to him. That's all. He just don't make me happy. You know, maybe I don't like the way he look. But if he's abusing you, if he's not providing and maintaining you, if he's not fulfilling the obligations that Allah has imposed upon him to fill you, he ain't giving you sex, then you keep the dowry. Again, sex is important in marriage. You married to a man, he's got other wives. He's not giving you your time. He won't have his relations with you, then you keep the dowry. You ain't got to return it if you can prove that the man is negligent. Y'all understand that? And in any time you go to an Islamic court or an Islamic scholar that specializes in divorce, if you prove it or he accepts the reasons, then you keep your dowry. How many of you sisters knew that? A lot of you don't. That's why I tell y'all, a lot of y'all, and most of the sisters I know that want divorce, they want it because the man is beating them up. Or the man ain't giving her her right. He ain't taking care of her. Or he's not giving her her time in polygamy. And how many of you sisters returned the dowry? You shouldn't have been able to return the dowry. You should have kept it because he was at fault. Only in a no fault of the man divorce do you return it. So make sure y'all write that down. Okay? And also, and that's all in the Quran, and also the waiting period of a khula differs. If a man initiates divorce, you have 3 months or 3 menstrual cycles, whichever comes first. But it's different for a woman. The waiting period for a woman who initiates a divorce is only 1 month until her next period, just to determine if she's pregnant. Okay? So if a woman divorces a man, there is no taking him back. Do you women understand that? Your husband can take you back after the first or second time, but you can't take him back. You can't say, I changed my mind. Once you file that divorce, once you ask for that khula and that imam gives it to you, it's over. You pack your bags, you're done. You move out the house. You just have to wait a month before you remarry someone. But you leave the house in this case too, because there's no going back. You cannot go back to him unless you remarry somebody else and divorce them. Do you sisters understand that? So you women have to be careful. You can't change your mind on a divorce. It's done. It's a done deal. Okay? Where's the dalil for all of this? Well, here we go. And if they both desire weaning through mutual consent from both of them and consultation, then there is no blame upon them. And if you wish to have your children nursed by a substitute, there is no blame upon you as long as you give payment according to what is acceptable and fear Allah. What is this speaking about? Well, the most damaging and long-lasting consequences of divorce is felt by the children, guys. So the parents must respect the divorce process, especially you women. You know, if you got children and you issue want an imam to issue a khula, it's a done deal. That's a broken home now. So we have to respect the divorce process. And when you go to a Quran interpreter, if you're a Muslim woman, they're going to explain this to you. And if you're a man too, they're going to let you know divorce is the person that gets hurt is the children. And that leads to the next problem: child custody. Child custody. In America, they fight for child custody, refusing to share the children with other parents and all of that. So the good Quran interpreter, when he explains that, for example, if a woman is seeking a divorce, that it's over instantly, that there is no going back. She just has to wait a month before her to see her period before she remarries. Okay, he's going to tell her, but look at your kids, because this is you can't undo this. Okay, let's talk about child custody. In Islam, the default Islamic ruling, and I want everyone to write it down. The default Islamic ruling is that for little children, they go to the mother. The mother is granted sole custody of the young children, whether it's a boy or a girl, provided she does not remarry. That's the catch. Does everybody understand that? That's the catch. So when I say young children, I'm speaking about children under the age of puberty. If the children are puberty, it's a different thing. The father has rights to them. But for the little kids that's under the age of puberty, they go to the mother, because mothers are more prepared to take on this mission because of the way Allah created us. We're emotional. We're compassionate. Men are not as emotional as we are. They're not as compassionate as we are. Plus, men have to provide the money, the support. And in Islam, the mother's custody period remains until the child reaches puberty. Once the child reaches puberty, then that's when, the father can demand to take his kids or whatever. But guess what? Until that child reaches puberty, the father is supposed to provide and maintain housing and everything like that for the children. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. As long as the woman doesn't remarry. So, does that mean he pays your rent? Does that mean he buys the food for the kids? Yes. Yes. So, for example, a person like Sister Elma, if Elma's got divorced from her husband, she has a daughter. Elma's husband pays her rent, her living expenses, buys the food and everything else because she's the mother taking care of his daughter. But now once that girl Hafsa reaches puberty, then the father can say, either he can let her stay with the mother, or he can say, I'll take her for me. So that's the thing with Islam. This alimony and crap, a lot of you Muslims come to America and y'all want to live the Kafir dream. Allah's laws are better than man's. But it comes with the catch of not remarrying. Once a woman remarries, the children can go to the father. And of course, he doesn't take care of you anymore. Where's my dalil? Here we go. Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning, lodge them of where you dwell out of your means, and do not harm them in order to oppress them. And if they be pregnant, then spend on them until they give birth. And if they breastfeed for you, then give them their payment and confer amongst yourselves in the acceptable way. But if you are in disagreement, then there may breastfeed for him another woman. Let the man, here we go. Let the man, here we go. Let the man of wealth spend from his wealth, and he whose provision is restricted, let him spend from what Allah has given him. Allah does not charge a soul except according to what he has given it. Allah will bring about after hardship ease. And again, you're going to find some scholars out there, some mathabs, who will tell you, oh, well, he ain't got to take care of them. Regardless, this is the dalil. Can't nobody issue a fatwa to contradict what Allah said or what the Prophet said. The correct answer is the father is obligated to provide for those children until they reach puberty, and that mother, if she doesn't remarry. He provides their accommodations, their food, their drink, their clothing, their medical expenses, their school expenses, all of their needs that they were accustomed to before the divorce. And since you are their mother and you're raising them, and of course they live in your house, he's got to pay her. He does all of that. You get all of that too. But if you remarry, you ain't getting nothing. It's over. Everybody got that? These are the laws of Allah. Can't nobody issue a fatwa. And again, where's my dalil? As for divorced women, their maintenance is according to what is acceptable, a duty on the righteous. This is about the women that you have to take care of until the divorce is over. Allah is referring to the responsibility of the husband to financially support his ex-wife after divorce, but a specific formula for the amount of support is left to be determined. Okay, so while we're going through the divorce process, he has to still take care of you. If you're pregnant, he still maintains you. If y'all divorce and you're raising those kids, he still got to take care of you. I'm your ex-wife, but I'm raising your kids. You got to take care of the rent, the food, and all of that for your children. And it's open for negotiations. What does that mean? That means a man can sit down with his ex-wife and say, look, I'll give you $1,000 a month. I'll give you $1,000 a month to take care of the kid. He can do that. Or I got 3 kids by you. I'll pay you $2,000 a month, that you can take to use to buy food and clothing and help pay the rent for your kids. So Allah allows that. And where's the dalil? Right here. There is no blame upon you if you divorce women you have not touched or specified for them an obligation. Now, this is talking about the women that you divorce who you haven't had relations with, but give them a gift of compensation. So the first verse here is the dalil that a woman is to be maintained during the process of divorce. It's also the dalil that even after divorce, if she's got children, you still take care of her and the kids. But you can negotiate. You can say, I ain't paying all your rent and stuff. I'm just going to give you $1,000 a month for both of the kids. Okay? The second verse occurs if you marry a woman and y'all never consummated the wedding. You decide that you don't want to be with her anymore, or she decides that she don't want to be with you. Y'all didn't have a chance to consummate. Then let her free, but give her a gift. Give her a gift. Okay, give her a gift. Let the dowry be a gift. The dowry can be a gift or whatever. Or you can just give the dowry back to the man, if y'all got married and y'all didn't consummate it. You decide, I don't want to go through with it. Is this clear? Are these 2 verses of the Quran here clear? Do you sisters understand what I'm saying here? No comments?
Yeah, we understand.
Okay. But again, irrevocable divorce. That's when a man issues a talaq to you for the 3rd time. If your husband divorces you, and this is the 3rd time he did it, you don't get no financial support, sisters, because ain't no waiting period. It's a done deal. Okay? Okay? Unless you pregnant, of course, that's different. He still has to take, wrong button. He still has to take care of those kids. And this is based on, this verse was sent down in regards to Fatima, the daughter of Qais. She said a woman had been divorced 3 times. And the prophet said she is not entitled to accommodation nor maintenance. That's the dalil. Once a man issues a divorce upon you for the 3rd time, you pack your bags, you leave out. There is no waiting period. The marriage is over. Just like when a woman initiates a Khula, you go home, pack your bags, and leave. You wait a month before you remarry to make sure you're not pregnant. Okay? So,